Hello and welcome to GregsChan 1. I am Greg and this is Channel 1. Now, due to unforeseen circumstances like technological issues, you cannot see my ugly mug, which is probably a good thing. This is a Monster Thursday, an anime review. I've tried to make myself seem a little bit more professional with the title of the anime reviews and by the thumbnail. Hopefully this is me looking a little more corporate. Anyway, let's dive right in to the third episode of Monster. Now, I felt that this was a very strong episode. I was actually really impressed with the way that the episode was done. Now, this episode is called A Murder. Bit of a simple name, and I'm not quite sure how I feel upon the name, to be honest with you. But, to be honest, let's just dive right into how I felt of the episode and what the episode brought that was good, bad, and ugly. So, it starts off where it is what's the word? It's a recap to a small degree on the fact that it opens up with someone knocking at a door, to which obviously from episode 2 Ava was knocking on a door before finding her father's dead body. So you're initially hearing this knocking on the door and you're thinking, are they going to reveal Heinemann's death again and have us almost experience after that? And then it cuts to Tenma waking up, and Tenma being very out of it as he is recovering from a heavy night of drinking. So, with this, you end up with him waking up and deciding to answer the door, and you have the police officer say that Dr. Heinemann is dead, Dr. Oppenheim is dead, and Dr. Boyer are dead. And Dr. Tenma looks legitimately surprised, like, wait, they're dead? Whoa. And he seems very confused. And he starts thinking that potentially he might have done it. Or at least that's how it came across, because obviously he was drunk. However, he obviously says to them that, he was out drinking all night, and so he doesn't know what happened. He's only just found out what happened to them. So with this, you end up having to then go to the next part of the episode where the police are obviously going to head on and continue doing what they can. And you get the press outside the hospital, because obviously these three doctors are all very important members of the hospital community. So you end up with Dr. Tenma going back to work, because Tenma's a workaholic, but he's almost like a positive workaholic, if that makes any sense. So he goes back into work, and as he arrives, he's being told of all these different types of cases, these types of surgeries he may have to do. And then one of the nurses tells him that Johann and Anna have vanished. Now, I was very much like, what? But then again, I have read a fair amount of the manga, so I know to this point at least that they have gone off, and I know what will happen a little later on in a later episode. But it is still a shock because of how well it is portrayed, and the fact that the voice actor for Tenma was fantastic in making it seem like he was legitimately worried. And so, he rushes off looking for all of them and can't find them. And you have him just being really worried. Then it cuts to the funeral scene, where it is the funeral for Dr. Heinemann, and it shows the most human Ava Heinemann's been in 3 episodes, which is her breaking down in tears at the fact that her father's gone. She never thought he'd ever go. She never thought he would die. It was very much like, no, Daddy's always going to be here. If ever I need Daddy, Daddy's always going to be here. Unfortunately, he's no longer going to be here. So, you're obviously going, okay, so are we going to see her change? Are we going to see, something interesting happen? And obviously she, is very upset. You have, another doctor try to comfort her, and she's like, get away, don't touch me. I just want my dad back. I just want my daddy back. And, that's probably the most human we're going to feel with Ava probably for a long while. If they don't kill her off before seasons end, before the series is over. So it then cuts to a scene of a police officer, a BKA, which is like a special agent. It's almost like a special type of police officer. And we are introduced to Inspector Lunge. They voice cast this guy perfectly. Upon reading the manga and being introduced to this man, I heard this voice and just went, yeah, that is perfect on how I expected him to sound. It was brilliant the way it was done. I was very, very impressed. Yes, it then cuts to a scene where Lunge is showing how much of a robotic kind of character he is, where he is kind of just stating that, Dr. Tenma's a very, very good surgeon. Dr. Tenma's this. Oh, yes. Kind of pandering to Tenma, but not being very charismatic about it. So it comes across like he's just stating facts, which he is, because that is very much how Inspector Lunge is. I only know this as I've read a bit of the manga, so I know that he is a very, very robotic sort of character, but he has that strange charm in the fact that he's very dedicated to his work. And you see him kind of adding a bit of pressure on Tenma, kind of, asking Tenma about, how Dr. Tenma felt about it all. Expecting some kind of negative response, I'm presuming. So, it then cuts to Tenma walks off with Becca, and it shows Lunge's little tick where it is him typing with his fingers, almost like he's the way that he refers to it is he's typing up information into the hard drive that is his brain, which I think that's beautiful. It's something I liked from the manga, and it was something I was glad that they kept in the show. I was very, very happy with the way that they did this, because it's the way that it should have been done. So, yes, I love his tick. It's a very, very unique thing, and it's something that is very, very good. I thought I quite like it. So, let's head on to the next part. So, it starts cutting to little bits where you find out how, Tenma pretty much decides he wants to leave. He's like, you know what, I'm going to leave, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to stop being a surgeon, I'm just going to go back home, everything's going to be fine, I'll find a way to, make my life feel like it has purpose again. And just as he's, felt like this, you find out that the patients and the staff really respect and really like Tenma. You have a couple of scenes with a couple of patients saying, "Don't leave us, Dr. Tenma. You are, it's hard to find a nice and good doctor." And that's a beautiful moment when you hear that, because you're going, yeah, he is a good guy. Saving Johan kind of helped awaken him. And it was quite nice. To which, it's showing how well paced this story is being progressed at the moment. 76 episodes, so we still got another 73 to go. Whether they can keep the progression at the right kind of pace is to be seen, but we will find out later on. So, moving on to the next part, we find out that Tenma's called into the office, and they're talking about they need a new chief head of surgery, and they say to Tenma, "You're the best man for the job." And you get a great scene where he's laughing and he's crying at the same time, because he's there going, "I went from a young man in Japan to becoming a chief surgeon, to being demoted, to now being promoted again." And he's happy about it, because it means that he's been respected for the right reasons this time. We get a scene where Ava tries to get Tenma back, and he rejects her because he's still feeling the effects of what she did to him, and he can't quite get over the fact that he feels a little lost. It then does almost like a mini time skip of 9 years in the future. There'll be more murders. Lunge's doing his little tick thing again. And then we get a great scene with Becca and Tenma, where Becca is, telling Tenma off because Tenma walked out of a date for work. And his response is just, "You did what?" And it was just beautiful, because it was just so fun. And Becca is that comic relief character. He's that character who is just fun to have, because he lightens the mood up a bit, which is what you kind of need when it's a very, very depressing style of story. You need that, that ray of light to a degree. The soundtrack, as usual, is just beautiful. I love the soundtrack. I love it so much. It's beautifully done. Simple as that. It is beautifully done. You have Adolf Junkers, who is someone that the police are looking for, as he gets run over by a car. And you've got Tenma saying, "I'm going to try and save him." If you're wondering, is he going to save him? He's still very modest after saving Junkers. And it cuts obviously maybe a day or so, and he goes in and he starts talking to Junkers, and he's like, "Can you tell me anything?" To which Junkers is saying very inaudibly, "A monster is coming." Keeps saying it, and then he gets clearer. A monster is coming. And that's how they end the episode. Now, personally, I thought that was the best way that they could have ended the episode, because it left us going, "Oh, who is this monster? What can this monster do? And is Junkers going to live much longer?" Anyway, that is my review for the 3rd episode of Monster. Now, as you know, I rate it out of 5. This was a strong 4.7 out of 5. This series has got off to an amazing start. I hope it can keep it up. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the videos. If you'd like, hit that thumbs up button. You can subscribe. It's in the bottom left, I think they say it is. It's either one side or the other. I have no idea. You can leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And hopefully you'll stay tuned for another episode of the Monster Thursday, which is an anime review. So, I hope you enjoy, and have a nice day, guys. Farewell.